Hello everyone, welcome to Improv and the Great Unknown. I am your host Jain Chopra, and today we are going to talk to a Projequa TM received from Helen Jones. A Projequa is simply a holographic message received from someone who is from future. We can talk to it and listen to it both at the same time. So without any further ado, let's listen to it.
Hello, and I hope you like my avatar. It's one of my favourites. We can have whatever avatars we want in the year 2060. I'm actually from the same universe and planet as you, but things are very, very different. In 2035, we had the Great Heat, which caused 40% of the planet to become uninhabitable. And so everybody had to move into the cooler climates. Then, later in 2042, we had the Great Gravity Disaster. Oh yes, once the permafrost had melted to a certain level, it opened up a huge sinkhole. And gravity started to pour into the sinkhole. At first we didn't know that gravity was reducing. With hindsight, maybe we should have. Somebody said there were bats sleeping the right way up instead of upside down. Some people said they saw small mammals flying in front of their face, apparently with no wings. I had a friend who reckoned they'd lost a stone, but really they didn't look like it at all. Later on we realised, of course, it was gravity. Gravity was disappearing. And so everything has changed. To your time, everything has changed. We have to develop tech to keep us well grounded, if you'll excuse the pun. Now, we all wear wearable tech. We call it tech wear. And that keeps us grounded. We have gravity boots, mesh floors, so that we don't just float away. And everything is made of nanofiber. And this was invented by an anonymous philanthropist called, well, he's only known as JC. That's the only way we know him. Nobody has actually ever seen him. He's a bit like Banksy in your time.
How does improv look like in the year 2060?
You asked me about improv in this universe or this time. I remember it well because I used to do improv back in the 2020s, the same as any of you. We don't call it that anymore. The youngsters call it SPONTAMA. It's spontaneous drama. Go figure. Anyway, all our improv, SPONTAMA, is virtual reality, all done through our techwear, because it's basically not recommended to go outside. If you go outside, you could float away and never return. That happened to a lot of people. SPONTAMA on virtual reality, oh, you'd love it. You really would love it. You could have any location, anywhere. You could ask for a random location, it pops up, and suddenly you're on a starship or in a jungle. Or you could start talking about a place and it'll appear and it'll seem so real. And one of our favourite things is anything to do with gravity. We love to feel what gravity was like. And the other thing that's such a favourite with SPONTAMA is animals. Because all the animals floated away. And so we love to do scenes that have got animals in them. And if you said to me, oh, there's a tiger coming, a tiger would appear, and if I said to you, don't worry, it's got no teeth, the tiger would open its mouth and there'd be no teeth. And then if we said, oh, let's stroke the tiger, wearing our nanofiber gloves, the tiger would feel so real, like real fur. And that's how SPONTAMA is today, or improv. I still call it improv sometimes. That's how it is. It's absolutely wonderful. And we also use SPONTAMA to learn new skills. Everybody has to know science. Otherwise you're out. You have to know science. You have to develop the world tech to deal with the gravity loss. It's not completely gone yet, but it's nearly there. And we've had to develop pods to live in with hydroponics, and we've had to learn new skills. We've had to perform lots of new experiments, and we can do all that using our virtual reality.
How do plants, trees, and flowers work in a non-gravity environment?
Well, the pods that we live in, they have hydroponics on every wall. We have to grow our own food as much as possible. And plants, when there's no gravity, wow, you should see how fast they grow and how tall they grow. And trees, when there's no gravity, their limbs just go upwards and upwards and upwards. And somehow their roots manage to stay. In fact, we have to grow as much in the soil as possible, otherwise the soil just goes up into the stratosphere. So, plants and trees and flowers have evolved to be so much taller and so much stronger, and limbs don't fall on anybody anymore. When you grow things in your hydroponics, they just grow so fast, which is just as well, because we all have to feed ourselves. So that's life in 2060. And I'm now 82, but I actually feel like a spring chicken because my mobility is so good with the lack of gravity. So that's a bonus. Anyway, I will have to sign off soon, and you may enjoy this information for 5 minutes. Then you will be visited by the temporal police, who will have to erase your memory of all of this interview.